Hoodie guy coming back here with another Kaspa video. Well, we're going to dive into talking about price predictions here in a little bit, but we'll just kind of run through a couple other things before we do. If you're watching this after the live stream, then we will put timestamp in there. If you just want to jump into some of the price prediction discussion, you can see Bitcoin's back under 100,000. United States bombed some Iranian nuclear bases. You can see we were holding over 100,000, just went underneath. Obviously, Kaspa's following market conditions, getting close to go under 6 cents. These are the best times to buy in general. Cassia, if you've tried that out, lots of transactions yesterday with people doing the chats there. It's cool. Eventually it needs to be on an app. I'm not sure how secure it is, but it's still cool. And if you're not really using any Kaspa, I'd be careful to, make sure you're chatting to the real person. You can see that there was a ton of transactions on June 20th. It went down, but actually today is probably not over. I don't know when the cutoff time is there. You can see Bitcoin dominance is getting close to 66%. What's interesting when you look on the 5-year is that it fell down, in December of 2020. It was a while after the halving, so it was the next year. I guess right at the end of the halving year is where it topped out. So we're getting, close to over halfway through the year after the halving, and it's still on the rise. So just kind of interesting. You can see that it bottomed out, pretty much at the bottom of the bear market, and it's just been on a steady rise with some pullbacks here and there as we're all waiting for altcoin season. What did you think of KIIs? They went on a tear. They did seem to get a little bit better with Think Kaspa, lots of AI videos. I think some people thought they're cringy. Some people seem to like them. They can do whatever they want. That's the thing is, to me, I just wonder is, I guess they're just trying to build up, some interest in getting people to think about Kaspa. What's interesting though is they're playing a little bit different game if they're going to be trying to get people to use their infrastructure to do a lot of energy trading. So for whatever that's worth, you can see Michael Saylor posted this. They're going to be buying more, or they bought more this week. They'll be posting it tomorrow. DCA at these prices, money to be made. Thanks for the updates, Hoodie. We'll be talking about that a little bit here in a second. But now tomorrow, Michael Saylor post. Who knows how many they bought this week? They're obviously not buying on Monday. That's just when they post. That could have helped keep the price up a little bit. If you look, there's been more institutions buying the best, fastest growing ETFs ever. And this is what the Bitcoin price is. So it makes me think that Bitcoin might not fly as high as some people think. Now, the price predictions. So a lot of people are looking is for what they want is a confident thesis about a high number. You want me to talk about how it's going to $5. These are all the reasons why. And we all walk away feeling better. I know that sometimes I like to watch those videos because it just makes me feel better that, that there's a good chance that I'll make good money. But, when you look at it, it's more of, there's really just three things with every project you're holding, whether it's Kaspa or anything else. Is it going to outperform the market, move with the market, or underperform the market? Yes. And we don't know exactly what that's going to do, but you're going to be somewhere in that ballpark. Most of them are just going to move with the market. A few are going to outperform, and a couple are going to perform. Now, rather than focusing on a number, look at the market metrics. I think that's the best a guy can do. Like right now, it might go down. Price might go down to 5.5 cents. I don't know. We don't know where this bottom's going to be. And the big whales like to use these negative moments like war, the Japanese yen carry trade, all these different things to push the price down so they can buy more. And I don't know why people would sell at these lower prices. That's me. It's basically the exact opposite of what you should be doing. Now with Kaspa, since it's altcoin season, now we don't know. Could altcoin season blow everyone's mind to the upside? That's very possible. Now, if it blows everyone's mind to the upside and Kaspa outperforms the market, then it's going to be doing really good. Altcoin seasons might do okay, but not amazing. I feel like that's where it's gonna do. I think also is altcoin season is gonna be okay, but I don't think it's gonna be as high as everyone thinks. I do think that there's gonna be more money, and I don't think altcoin season might be weaker because more money staying in Bitcoin ETFs and treasury companies. I think that's possible, but I still think there's gonna be an okay altcoin season. I'm not sure it's gonna be great. Some people think that there might not be an altcoin season because that money's staying there. I still think there will be because there's still going to be enough big money. A lot of these alts, when you're just at 2 billion, you don't need a ton of capital to pump your price up. Unlikely, but we could have already hit a double top. I know people talked about that. I don't think that's the case. I don't think we still are going to have a top when you look at a lot of the metrics. But um, for me, the best I can do is dollar cost average in, because sometimes you think like you could have bought yesterday and like, wow, okay, look, the price is holding up. There's war. Maybe it's not going to dip farther than now. It's looking like it could go under 5 cents. So it's really tough to gauge the price. So on the reverse of this, you can see we're already back down to neutral and kind of almost to the what is this, the fear is almost back under 39, which I guess I don't know if that's not extreme fear, but it's going to be fear. These are the times to buy when it's down in the fear zone, and the time to sell is when it's getting up into that turquoise color. When that happens, if it happens again, I don't know what the price is going to be exactly. You can look at some of these metrics that have been pretty good in the past, like the price cycle top indicator. Some people like to look at the Bitcoin power law. There's some other charts. So I know people like an exact one. If you'd asked me at the beginning of 2024, I thought that Kaspa would have been a lot higher of a price than it is today. So it's really hard to predict the price. I think you're better off at focusing on the market and trying to think of like, okay, this feels like it cooked because, right now, why, I don't want to sell my stuff down here. So I'm not even considering it. Now, I guess if you have a project and there's some big negative hack or something happens, it's different. But when your project is just following the market conditions and they're down, and you can see this, everyone was super scared about the yin carry trade last year, and everything bounced back and went higher. Just gonna look. Still hoping for Caspa. Emotional damage says my bags now. Holding for 2030 and beyond. So everyone's playing a different game here. Maybe do okay, but not amazing scenario. I Caspa hits one ish is a possibility. That's where it's really hard. But if you like asked me, I feel like if I had to guess, it feels like right now, maybe like 65 cents to $1.50, if it just kind of does okay, and the market does okay, $5 feels like a long ways away, but it's in the realm of possibility. So if you did look at like $1 and $2 and $3, or even you could start off at 65 cents, we don't know what, because part of it is if you're looking at the market conditions and you go, wow, we're in extreme greed, price cycle topic indicator hit, there's maybe another indicator hit, YouTube views are up. You can look at, there's a lot of trading volume. There's just a big fury. It looks like retail piled back into altcoins. And the price is $1. That might be all that the market gives, and sometimes some projects can pump before or after Bitcoin tops. ADA last year or last cycle pumped before, off the smart contract news. We don't know. We know there's some catalyst potential listings or smart contracts, but if there was an October top, and we don't know, it could stretch into next year. Some people think the super cycle, whatever. But if there was an October, November top to this market, we're kind of running out of months to build up that momentum. But that doesn't mean that it can't cut hot and heavy. There's big power players that can, move the magic wand on whatever project they want to pump. It's usually the VC backed ones, but it's more of, instead of just picking out a number and saying, man, that's the price I'm selling at if I plan on taking profit. Now, if you're holding a 2030, this is just kind of all, academic. But if you're planning on taking profit, I think it's better to look at the market and feel like the best you can. You're not going to play it perfectly. I know I'm not, but now I know it's not the top of the market, so I'm not even consider selling down when it's an extreme fear. on the day, the best day it's going to sell is going to not feel good because whatever the price is, it's going to feel like it's going to be higher the next day. But in reality, the best you can do is just gauge the market and dollar cost average out. If you're going to sell half your bag, sell 10% here, 10% there, 5%. It goes up higher. All right, man, I didn't sell out all the way. Leave a sliver in case there's some parabolic pump that you didn't really expect. You still got 10% to sell or whatever. We're all going to have a different game. So that's all I got. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Right now, these dark days are not fun when your bag's getting hammered. And, we all have different entry prices. But, so far, when you look back, like with Bitcoin, it bounces back. And I don't think the market tops in. And, whatever the war will level off. And so I think we're going to have a good cycle top, whether it's, I don't think Bitcoin's going to go as high as some people think, because when you look at how much it's went up and it's done good as an investment, but with having the best ETFs ever, all this institutional money flowing in, states starting to adopt a Bitcoin reserve. I don't think they've started buying. Texas just passed that yesterday where they're going to have a Bitcoin reserve. There's, a lot of big money flowing in. Now that's why people think that the cycle might not fall down as much in the bear market, because the institutional money will kind of keep it propped up more. So we just don't know. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to take profit, you just got to do the best you can when the market's in extreme greed or close to it. And that's basically it. So let me know what your price prediction is, or what what metrics are you using to gauge the market. Obviously right now the sentiment's horrible. I think it'll turn around. We'll go back up to extreme greed, I believe. And that's when I'm going to really start thinking about hitting the sell button. Thanks for watching and have a good day.